Hello, everyone. You're listening to Those Other Girls with Mallory and Friends. I'm Mallory, and this is a pop culture podcast, not like other pop culture podcasts. We don't just talk about culture, we change culture. Sorry about that random cough. Happy Saturday, everyone. Hopefully by the time you hear this, it will be Saturday. I'm actually recording this pretty early Saturday morning. I have a lot to do today, and I didn't get a chance to record this week. And it's been 2 weeks without a TCAP. I'm feeling a lot better, so I didn't want to go, another week or so. Probably it'll be another 2 weeks because I don't know if we'll do a TCAP next week. I'll see. But that would be like another 2 weeks without a TCAP, and I can't do that. So I really wanted to hop on and give you guys my unsolicited opinions. Also, too, I'm drinking my Saturdays are for TCAPs mug on the last leg of my 7 weeks coffee. So I need to get some more of that. I'll probably order some. Oh, Black Friday's coming up. I'll probably order some on Black Friday. All of these businesses are so smart. Anyway. Probably order some on Black Friday. Okay, so before we get started, I want to acknowledge something. If my cheeks look a little tear stained, it is because I got some sad news. It's not over a boy, so snaps for that. I'm sad this time, not because of a boy. So this morning, I went to go get my charger from my parents' room because, like the techno genius I am, I have the best charger in the entire house. So randomly, my charger will be in my parents' room, my brother's room, downstairs. Anyway, so I went to go get my charger, and my mother informed me that my childhood pastor, my mom still works, my parents still go there, my mom still works for that church, has passed away. And it honestly was like jolting. I did not expect that at all. He was just one of those people that, I don't know, like we all have them, like sometimes even our grandparents, you like know that they're old, but you don't really expect them to die. Like when my great aunt died, who I absolutely love, she and my grandma were like the only two people who ever really got me, not to sadden myself out even more. When my great grandma died, she was like 80, maybe almost 90 something. And I was like, oh, I cannot believe this. And my brother, who is like a jokester and really a good person, and he's always been the type of person, like, I was sad. He always like, great. My brother's my best friend. And he was like, no offense, but you're shocked that our 80-something-year-old great aunt died? And I was like, well, and I think it was like of old age. And I was like, well, that's a valid point, So anyway, my parents' pastor died, and it's really, really sad. It was unexpected as well. He was a really, I honestly have nothing negative to say about him. Some people I grew up with, some of my classmates, because I went to that, very, very, very few people have a similar background, but I know there are others out there like this. So hopefully you're listening, someone listening can relate to this. I went to that church Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night. And then I went to the school that the church had Monday through Friday. Sometimes there'd be Saturday activities. So, you'd be with these people all the time. And anyway, I have nothing negative to say about him. He's a genuinely good Christian man. So Black Christians, for those that don't know, we say when someone passes away, that's a Christian. You have to be a Christian. They went home to be with the Lord. So he went home to be with the Lord, and so that's a little cultural lesson. And it's just, I don't know, just really sad. Like, I did not see that coming. And a quick story, and then like less personal sad news, and then some, external sad news because of how the world is. Quick story. When I was younger, I had this dream about heaven, and it was such a child dream. So in my dream, heaven was a water park, because at the time, the greatest thing I could think of was a water park. We used to go to the water park near my house. There was like a summer where we went every single day, and my mom would literally like drop us off at like, I don't know, before noon, and then it closed at 8, and we would just be finishing up, and they'd be like, "Where's your mom?" And then she'd be like, "Hi." So like water parks were like heaven to me, I guess. So I dreamed that, and then my pastor, because he was the most Christian, holy man I knew, he was Jesus, and I just think that's so funny. Or he was either Jesus or God. Anyway, same person. So like, yeah, I just sometimes I think about that and think that's so funny. And then my mom wants me to tell this story. I don't know why, but it is kind of funny. So when we were younger, we had, everybody had those little cars, not like the Barbie, like electronic car, but like the cars where you move your feet and everything. Well, like I said, my mom worked for a church, and my aunt was telling us the other day, well, not the other day, like a couple years ago, she's telling us how when we were younger, and you repeat what you hear your parents say. So instead of being like, "Oh, I'm going to the doctor," or like when you're driving, like, "Oh, where are you going, little girl?" "I'm going to the doctor." "I'm going to the park." We would say we were going to swing by the church, because that's what my mom would say. And that is a funny story. I don't know what it has to do with, the circumstances. My mom thought it was funny. She's like, "You should share this story." I was like, "Okay, I guess." Anyway, really, really, really genuine Christian man. And I have no doubt that he's in heaven. No doubt at all. There's just certain people. I mean, obviously we don't know, but like there's certain people, genuinely good Christian man. And then, okay, last thing I'm going to say, I will say, growing up in that church the way I did with my mom as the missions director, that really has helped me see how the church can help people. So like I said, my mother is a missions director. So what that church does, they help someone possibly pay their light bill, or like a bill if they're behind and they need help. And they also like offer, okay, so resume help. Okay, you're in this situation. How'd you get in this situation? And they have like mentorship, and like, perfect example. One of my friends, I was hanging out with her, and one of her friends was hanging out with her. So the three of us were hanging out, and the friend was just looking so distraught. Long story short, her mother, who was coming down, and she has a couple of issues. She was coming from another state, and she was trying to move in with this girl, and she just didn't have the capacity for it. She was living with someone, like with one of her friends, and it was going to be this whole big thing. She didn't come with any food, any shelter, any clothes, nothing like that. Well, she was telling me about this, and I was like, and she's just like, we're supposed to be hanging out, but she can't even like focus. And I was like, 1 second. So I went into another room, called my mom, told my mom the situation, and she said, "Give me a little bit more details." I asked the girl some more details. Long story short, someone from so my parents' church also has a women's shelter. Someone from that shelter met her at the airplane, brought her over to the shelter, got her food, clothes, and then I think she stayed at the shelter for a little bit while she was trying to figure out like where to live and everything. But like that is really how we help people. Like that's how like you make the change. You can't rely on government. You can't rely on things like that. I mean, there's tons of stories throughout my entire life that I've seen that, and that's because this pastor has set up a really good system. And he's been a good leader, because even like some of the stuff that, for example, like the shelter, some of that stuff, my mom actually has come up with the ideas. And I think it's partially because, she has a good leader. She has someone that allows her to do things. For example, a summer camp that me and my friends worked at, it was a summer camp that was in the inner city, and we have some crazy wild stories, but you just learn, you just see how your community is the best that's going to help you. So anyway, that's that on that. RIP. RIP. Okay. Moving on. Couple of announcements. If you have not joined the Patreon, you should. Patreon listeners, you're gonna be getting something really sweet for Christmas. I hope you love it. So it's not too late to join the Patreon to be a part of that. Your Patreon gift helps. For example, like this, I have a new setup, or like the camera's like a little bit wider back. Let me know if that looks good on the video, or let me know if that looks good like when I do the Instagram pages, Instagram reels and stuff like that. But your money will help like with setup and things like that. Your money is going to help with marketing. We got to get this information out there. We have to, if we're going to change culture, we have to be a part of culture. So I'm going to do a lot more marketing. Your money also doesn't go into my pocket. I don't get a dime of it. It goes directly to the podcast. Sorry. The recording software costs money. The website costs money. To be able to do events costs money. So that's all that your money is going to be going to. The email service that we use. Expect an email soon, by the way, because it is gift guide season. So I have reached out to some people have reached out to us, some businesses that are owned and that have our values as well. And I'm going to be recommending them. I'm going to have codes and pictures and things like that. So look out if you're on our email list. Look out for that. If you're not on our email list, email me to add you to the list, or message me or get in contact with me somehow, add you to the list, because it's going to be great. So yeah, so join the Patreon. All that to say, join the Patreon. You will not regret it. We're going to do a lot more in there. Yeah. So, okay. Merch. I keep wearing this sweatshirt because A, it's comfy, and B, because I'm like advertising the merch. The day my brother did ask me if I had any other sweatshirts. I said yes. What's it to you? But we have this sweatshirt out, as well, and it's perfect for the March for Life, which is another awesome segue into the March for Life. If you are going to the March for Life by yourself, or you don't have a group to go with, do not fret. You have a group now. Come with those other girls. I posted it already on the Instagram, and we only have one person, and it really made my heart so happy. I hope you're listening. And she said that, she wasn't going to go because she had no one, and now she does. So she sent me her number, and we're going to coordinate everything. And I'm just really happy that that those other girls can be that for people. Hopefully there's a couple other people who want to join us. If not, if it's just the four of us. So sorry, y'all. I am better. Like before, I would not have been able to go this long without coughing. Hopefully it's we can get more people. If not, that's okay. But I'm just so excited to be together, and this is the March for Life is a good first step. I keep saying first step because I don't want you to just go every year and not do anything else. But if you're looking for a way, I just got started involved in the pro-life movement. I'm nervous. I don't know. I don't know if I belong. The March for Life is a great first step. There's also going to be March for Life, individual ones. The one in South Carolina, I believe, is January 7th. I will be at that as well. There's going to be some really cool things associated with that. Can't really share yet, but, and the one in North Carolina, I want to say it's probably going to be the January after that, maybe? Or the January, the, weekend after the 7th, maybe, I'm guessing. But anywho, these announcements are going on really long. Anywho, if you are going to the March for Life by yourself and you don't want to be by yourself, join us, join our group. We are more than happy to have you with us. Okay. Let me make sure that is all the announcements. Oh, probably one of the most important announcements. I want to thank you guys. We have got to 40K listens. Thank you. Also, too, I want to say I really love you guys. I love this audience. I was looking, I posted, I'll be honest, I posted the thing Kalasia said about Taylor Swift, because A, I thought that was hilarious, and B, I'm like, we talk about pop culture. Like, we talk about abortion, we talk about birth control, we talk about the trans issue, but we also talk about pop culture. Like, it's funny. And I'm very, very happy we didn't get a bunch of like mean-spirited comments. There's other pages that are similar but not quite the same as ours that do get like kind of mean, people being very mean and like about it. So I'm very thank you for, even if you feel like, oh, Taylor Swift's evil, blah blah blah. Even if you do feel that way, thanks for not like being mean. I really appreciate that, and that's one thing I want. Like, I want other girls to be different. Like, we are different. We are not like everybody else. We're just not like other girls. We are different. We are not, and what do I mean by that? I don't mean necessarily like, we like Taylor Swift. I mean, because I'm not even like a Taylor Swift stan. I like her music. I'm a fan, but I'm definitely not a stan like a lot of other people. And I know people listening, there are stans, so love and respect you. Sorry, you probably didn't get a ticket. But when I say we're not like other girls, I mean, we are not attacking people. We're not being mean to people. We're not disrespecting people just because we disagree. We are not questioning someone's, I don't know, loyal or someone's Christianity because they happen to like a couple of songs. And I appreciate that. Like, that is how we're different. We're not, and even if that is how you feel, our goal is not to tear down people. Our goal is to tell the truth in grace and love. So if you can't get what's the truth out in grace and love, pray for the person and pray that someone else can, So I just really appreciate that. I appreciate that about you guys. I appreciate you as listening, sticking with the podcast. It's been through so many changes. And I appreciate that. I really want the podcast to be, and then I really should get into the topics. Yeah, I really should get into the topics. I really want the podcast, the last thing, I want the podcast to be, like a group. Like, I don't want it to just be about me. It's called Mallory and Friends because my friends are coming on. You guys are my friends that are listening. A lot of you who listen now are legitimately my friends. I legitimately love you. Shout out to the Patreon girlies, specifically. And you're legitimately my friend. So like, I want it to be kind of like I don't want to say like a group project because that sounds corny, but I just don't want it to be like about me, like me all the time on the social media. Once I can get, some things moved around and stuff like that, I want to highlight other people. There's other people, other Christian conservatives, or other just Christians in general that are doing great and amazing things and could come on as co-hosts. Ideally, I wanted to have like, anyway, that's the point. Now I'm rambling, but yeah, I just really want to thank you guys. I really, 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 really appreciate it. It means a lot to me that you guys are listening and it seems like you're enjoying it because it gets shared and there's a review. So please, also too, if you really like it, please leave a review. It really helps. It helps the algorithm, and also interacting with it on YouTube helps the algorithm too, as we are still more women than men. Congratulations, girlies. We did it. And not a man hater. Some of the stuff men need to listen to, but obviously I'm pink and girly, so I do want other girls to like hear it. I feel like I'm speaking into a void if it's just guys. And like I said, one of the episodes that has all these like likes and comments, stuff like that, you can tell they didn't listen to the episode. They just got mad at the title, which helps the episode go forward. So that's why when you see people have like really cheeky titles, it's kind of because it's like that gets the most engagement. I go back and forth. Like, I want the title to be cheeky, but also meaningful. Like, I don't want it to be like, I also think like, Mallory destroys argument of blah, blah, blah. I think that's kind of whack. But, let me see. Oh, I had birthing people in the title. That is our most watched video on YouTube. And sometimes people still commenting, birthing people, that's disgusting. Something like that. And I'm like, if you watch the video, you would know that we agree. You don't have to get mad at us. Write your senator. Don't text us, text your senator. Anyway, let's get into it. I hope you guys are having a fabulous day. This episode is brought to you by multiple sponsors. There are multiple businesses that we absolutely love and adore, and we have codes for. So Culture of Life 1972 is one of them. They have cute clothes and accessories. Use the code Those Other Girls. So sorry. 1972 to get 10% off. Garnu is another one that we absolutely love. Organic tampons. Use the code OtherGirls10 to get 10% off. And American Women Beauty. Beautiful makeup products. My face is bare this morning. But as I've mentioned before, your girl still has on jewelry. But normally when I have a lot of things to do today, and when I do them, my face is going to be in American Woman Beauty. You can use the code MAL15 to get 15% off. Okay, here we go. So our first story is about the Christmas controversy. Candace Cameron Bure faces criticism for commentary on marriage. Here we go. This is from Red Liberty Media. They are a small media company. I started following I guess they're probably not small anymore, but they're independent media company that I started following a couple of years ago, I think. Maybe like a year ago, maybe not years, but like a year ago. Love them. All of the people that like post for them or everything like that seemed really nice. Okay. Candace Cameron has joined a new network, Great American Family, where she plans to create more faith-based films. One of the films, A Christmas Present, earned Burr an in-depth interview with the Wall Street Journal. In the interview, Burr made a comment about traditional marriage, and it has traditional marriage in quotes, which has sparked controversy around the Full House actress. Quote, I think that Great American Family will keep traditional marriage at the core, end quote, Burr said. Many users took to Twitter to discuss their criticism of Burr, the actress known for her Christian values and family-friendly content. Okay. Lots of thoughts. First of all, I personally am not like a Hallmark movie fan. Shocker, I know. I don't know. Not for me. I don't really watch those type of movies. My mom loves that type of stuff. And as soon as I tell her about the Great American Family, she and my dad, funny story about them really quick. My parents either watch Christian television, so someone preaching, like a Christian movie, something like that, or they watch like movies from like the 1930s, like black and white, like before Shirley Temple time. I feel like they watch those movies and they just think it's the pinnacle of TV. Anyway, when I tell them about this or when they listen to this, I know I'm gonna get. So how do we get Great American? So what do I push? Like my parents, they love that type of stuff, and I know some of you love that type of stuff. So I think this is cool. I think this is great. And I think what I don't understand about people being upset is this is someone's values. Like, it's not, shocker, Candace Cameron's Christian. Shocker, she believes in traditional marriage. Like, I guess I just don't, I never, to the bake the cake thing, I never understood that. So how I try to think about it is, I'm black. If you're listening, you don't know. I'm black. I'm marrying, let's say, a white guy. And I go to a cake place. And they say, we don't serve your kind. Dang, that's messed up. Internet, this is what they did to me. And then I, like, move on. Like, I don't understand. Like, and maybe I'm just not a warrior like some people are, but I just don't get it. Like, also, too, I don't, and I'm just saying that because it's the only thing I can, like, possibly relate to, but I also don't think that gay marriage and interracial marriage are even similar. which kind of segues a little bit for 2 seconds. I want to talk about that Marriage Respect Act. I don't want to get too into it. And I also want to preference this. I have nothing against people who are homosexual. I have nothing against them. The issue with the Respect Marriage Act, 2 things. I really don't think that we should be categorizing interracial marriage and gay marriage. I think those are 2 completely separate things. And I'll leave it at that. You can interpret that however you want. Interracial marriage and gay marriage are very separate. And then number 2, it really does fringe on religious liberties. Whether we like it or not, there are people, it is against religious, if you're Catholic, if you're Protestant, if you're Orthodox, if you're Muslim, I believe even if you're Jewish, it is against your faith to marry a man and a man and a woman and a woman. Now, what could happen is you can still go to the courthouse. You can still have Mary Sue marry you. Funny story, when I was in college, my friends and I were watching a movie, and I don't even remember what movie we were watching. We were talking, and then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to sign up for my marriage license. So, like, I can marry someone. Like, you're not being hindered from being married. You're being hindered from being married from people who do not want to marry you. Which, once again, it goes back to like, why would I want that person to marry me? If they don't want to marry me, why am I trying to force somebody to marry me? I don't get it. I just don't get it. That's just not me. So anyway, so that's the little tidbit about the Respect Marriage Act, Young Women for America, Concerned Women for America, the Heritage Foundation. Those 3 places have really good articles, really good interpretations. They do a really good job of explaining like what's going on. I want to have someone, I don't know if it'll be old news in 2 weeks, but if it's not, I'd like to have someone to come on and like kind of explain it a little bit. But right now, that's just as quick of an explanation as I can get. The problem that people are having is that the religious exemptions are very vague, and it could take away tax status from religious institutions. And at the end of the day, it's your religious freedom. It's your religious freedom to decide to marry someone. It's your religious freedom to do those type of things. Once again, if there was a religion that said, there are religions that say no interracial, then why would I go to that religion? I don't know. I don't get it. That doesn't make any sense to me. So anyway, back to Candace Cameron. So doing the traditional marriage thing, I think is great. I think that's fine. I don't think it's that big of a deal, because that's her belief and it aligns with the Bible. If you are following the Bible, this is what, God has laid out in his word, what marriage is. So if that's your belief, then it goes along with that. And once again, I know that there are some people who listen who do identify as gay or lesbian or bi, things like that. And like, you guys know, I love you. I have nothing against you. I'm just talking about this topic. I'm talking about what the Bible says. And love to have a conversation with you about it if you'd like. Even to have a conversation on here. I actually have been wanting to have that conversation with someone on here. So anyway, I'm trying to think of what else to say about this. People getting upset about it, once again, is shocking. Just don't watch it if you don't like it, I guess, is my thing. Like, I don't get it. Yeah, I guess that's that. I'll keep you guys posted about, maybe we'll like kind of track some of the movies that are coming out, and it's called The Great American Family. We can track some of the movies. Maybe I'll do a review of two of the movies from Oops Spoilers. Like I said, it's not necessarily my cup of tea, but I will say, like, if it's good quality, I will try to do my best to support, even if it's not necessarily like, maybe there'll be like a movie that also, a love story that's also kind of like a spy or something. I don't know. That's interesting to me. Shout out to Chuck. Great TV series. That will be interesting to me. So maybe it'll be something like that. And then, but I do want to support, like, if it's good quality. You guys know how I feel about quality entertainment, for Christians specifically. I'm tired of, my parents will watch stuff that's like made for YouTube, it feels like. And you can tell someone filmed it in their backyard. And because just my parents are, I guess they're old and I guess they're sweet people, they'll be like, oh, it wasn't that bad. And I'm like, no, we have to be better. Put this out there. One thing that I really want to like help facilitate is a remaking of The Visitation. I've talked about this before and I will keep talking about it. The Visitation by Frank Peretti. Everyone should read that book. It's so good. Okay. Next story. And this is from CNN. The only one who had what I wanted to talk about in the article. Everybody like talked around it. Here we go. Jeff Bezos says he will give most of his money to charity. Amazon founder Jeff Bezos plans to give the majority of his $124 billion, $124 billion net worth during his lifetime, telling CNN in an exclusive interview. Oh, it's because it's an exclusive CNN interview. He will devote the bulk of his wealth to fighting climate change and supporting people who can unify humanity in the face of deep social and political division. Okay. That's the part that I wanted to talk about. How do you donate to climate change? I think that I'm not laughing at the climate change part. We will have Chris on again to talk a little bit about like what's going on. And I am not a climate denier at all. I do think we should do a little bit better. We have to be better stewards of our world. But when you say donate to climate change, it's the same. I'll never forget the NFL 2 years ago, or the NFL after the George Floyd incident. I'm sorry, the NFL. See, shows how much I know sports. The Super Bowl after the George Floyd summer. On the screen they said, and we have donated X million dollars to end racism. And me and my dad were like, wait a second, run that back. To end racism? Donating it to who? That's such an empty promise. That's the same thing I feel like where I'm donating to climate change. That's such an empty promise. Donating to who? Like, does racism have like a square? You like swipe your card? Does climate change have a square? You just, all right, here we go. You fixed it. Like, I don't understand when they say that. I guess they're not trying to be specific and say this specific charity, but like, I would feel a bit more comfortable if I knew this specific charity, because also too, you'll give the charity exposure, and number two, we can hold you accountable. But I'm going to donate $124 billion to end climate change. What does that even entail? I really don't like that, and that is another example of like performative to me. That feels so like, y'all wanted this money here to climate change. Like, what does that entail? I wish it would be more specific when they say stuff like that. And I mean, even when the NFL said, I'm donating X million dollars to end racism. End racism? How? Doing what? Is there a button? You know, if they get enough money, does someone push a button and all of a sudden racism is done? All of a sudden climate change is done? Is that how it works? I don't know. That's how they act. I don't know. So yeah, I just really wanted to share that because I was like, okay, interesting. If I had $124 billion to donate, where would I donate it? I wouldn't donate it to just one thing for sure. As you guys know, I love women. No homo. I remember when we used to say that as kids. I love women and I just really want to help my fellow sisters. So my mom and my cousin used to always talk about having a maternity home. And I think that I would love to help donate to something like that. A maternity home. I would love to donate to educating young girls, I think. And that sounds like donate to end climate change, but let me be specific. Donating, I have a friend who I absolutely love and adore, and she does a lot of like fertility awareness. If you're listening, you probably know who I'm talking about. And I would love to donate to her to be able to send her across the country to talk to young girls. And the way she explains things, at least to me, is so simple. Because, like, I honestly, so here's my journey. I started off pro-life. Didn't really know you could do all the things that you can being pro-life. I just, pro-life, yeah, of course. You aren't pro-life. And then I started learning more. About speaking up. Started learning more about activism. And then I got more involved with other pro-lifers. Then I started learning about fertility. Then I started learning about birth control. Then I started learning about, like, how beautiful our bodies are, how uniquely different our bodies are than men, and how beautiful and precious. And I really wish I had learned something like that back in high school or even middle school. And my friend, she knows all this stuff about, like, mucus and checking your temperature and all this other stuff. And I would love to, like, have her like help donate to her to start a company, start a business, to go and talk to other girls around the country. She would talk, and then hopefully she would meet other people that could do it. And there's probably people who do that, but, like, I don't know. She explained it really well for me, and I believe in her. So, like, I would donate to things like that. I really would, I've always wanted, like, my own nonprofit, in the sense of, like, my own nonprofit where we're helping specifically women. And over the years, how I've thought about it has changed. Another thing that I really would like to do is help end period poverty, donate to end period poverty. Mallory, how? You just said that is weird to just say it like that. Of course, let me explain. So a huge issue of period poverty is just access to pads and tampons. And I think that if we could just provide free access for specific groups, because there's, we had Olivia Ord, 1 in 2 people in the town she was referring to, Mountain City, 1 in 2 people have period insecurity. So, like, that's clearly an area, and she talked about, like, how that happens. And that's clearly an area that needs that stuff. So, for their health, for their hygiene, for their mental health, because, you don't want to be walking around and have, like, stains. Like, mentally it's not great. So I would like to have something for them, like a constant. Like, with billions of dollars, we could have something for them. And there's other places all across the country like that. Or even like we did for the middle school girls, having, and we need to finish. We have not finished raising to that goal. So let's do that. But anyway, just having those extra there. So, like, the girls aren't missing school. They're not missing their class, so that they can, or if they are in class, they're able to focus and not being concerned about, like, oh my gosh, my period is going through, So those are the things that I would donate to. And, it all goes back to, like, helping women. Yeah. So that's what I would do with $124 billion. Nothing against the climate, nothing against ending racism. Or what was the other thing? He said social and political justice, nothing, political division, nothing against that. I just shared what I would do with it. So that's that. The next story is brought to you by Garneau. Garneau, and this is so perfect because of the next story. Garneau is a girls-only club. They have period care products that embrace women's innate femininity while empowering girls all over the world. Garneau tampons are made with 100% cotton core. And each subscription supports feminine hygiene training and female entrepreneurship to Nepali women who are vulnerable to human trafficking. So, ladies, let's support businesses that support our values. Ditch whatever tampon brand you're using, and eventually ditch whatever pad brand you're using, because they are doing pads. Macy, if you're listening, we're excited. Ditch all that. Forget it. Use Garneau. They also have period cups. So if you really want a period, someone actually reached out to me and they asked if I knew a period cup brand that they wanted, because they wanted to switch. And I was like, not only do I know one, I have a discount code for you. Use period. If you use period cups, they also have that as well. And they have different sizes and all that. I'm going to be honest, I've never used one. I want to. I'm a little nervous. Maybe I will in the future, but, like, not right now. But Macy on the Garneau YouTube page, and I think their TikTok, they even have like demonstrations on how to use it too. So if you want to switch over to that, they have resources for that. Anyway, you can listen to episode 145. And you can hear from Macy, the founder. Sweet, love her. And she talks about where she got the idea for Gardeau, and just some of the packaging stuff, talking about why cotton tampons are important, which, it never crossed my mind really until recently, that cotton tampons are important. She talks about all that. So you can go and listen to episode 145 to hear that. And you can head over to www.grnuu, Gardeau with 2 U's.com, and then you can use the code OtherGirls10 to get 10% off of your purchase. Okay. Next story. This is by Evie Magazine. I don't know if you guys remember, about a year or some change ago, I wanted to start a magazine. It's very, 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 very hard. A. And B, there kind of already is a magazine, which is Evie. It's digital, and then they do have some for that's not desktop, the coffee table. They do have coffee table issues. And, maybe I'll start one day. But right now, I think Evie is doing a great job. Anyway, Evie Magazine, they had this article. First biological male wins Miss Greater Dairy, a beauty pageant held by the Miss America organization. Brian has become the first trans winner of the Miss Greater Dairy beauty pageant. Quote, I am ecstatic to be the first transgender woman to be a Miss America local title holder, end quote. Brian Nguyen, oh gosh, I'm so terrible. I know that's not how you pronounce it. I don't know. I'm sorry, you guys. Became the first transgender to win a title under the Miss America organization. He was named Miss Greater Dairy 2023, landing him a crown and a scholarship. The Miss Greater Dairy Scholarship provides scholarships to young women between the ages of 17 and 24. Lots of thoughts. Lots of thoughts. My first initial thought, seeing that picture, and I hope this isn't offensive to people, but this is what I thought. If a biological woman looked like that, she would not have won a beauty pageant. I'm sorry, beauty pageant is about outer beauty. You can disagree. But I've never seen someone unattractive win. Let's be honest. And not even just, the winners aren't just attractive, they're like exceptionally attractive. Like, let's be honest. Sure, there are other things, you have to have skills. Not knocking that. And you know what? Let me take that back. The pageants are about outer beauty as well as, I don't want to say they're just about outer beauty, because that is wrong. I have seen some people are very, very talented. And I don't want to knock my fellow sisters over that. I apologize. But everybody that wins is like, not just like pretty, but like, wow, gorgeous. Now that I'm not going to take back. That's just a fact. Now, a biological woman that looks like this Brian person would not win. I'm sorry, that's the truth. That's the truth, and the truth will set you free. That was my initial thought. Like, wow, that's kind of messed up. What's the second one? Because, especially the scholarship part, there were other girls there who deserve that scholarship. So this biological man took something that a biological woman deserved. So that was my second thought. That's really messed up. I think it's crazy that we're at this point. I think it's crazy that this is happening more and more. I am confused, I will say, about the transgender, like how many people in our population are transgender. I'm confused because it seems like they're winning a lot of titles, that they're doing a lot of things, And it almost feels disproportionate. Like, how can there be, I saw a statistic, I want to say Sagar, if you guys listen to Breaking Points, my brother got me listening to that. If you listen to Breaking Points, Sagar, I want to say he posted it on his Instagram. Let me look really quick. And it was just about like statistics, like what we believe and like what's the truth. Let me just look really quick. Sagar, I think it was him. Long story short, we believe. Okay, let me look really quick if it's here. No, but he is the king of like posting random statistics that he gets from Twitter. No, I don't see it. Okay, so we believe that the transgender population like is 30% or something like that, but really it's less than 1%. What I'm confused about is how do we have if it's less than 1%, how do we have all these things, like all of these biological men winning awards and things like that? If it is less than 1%, how, like, statistically, is this possible? I don't know. That's just something I'm thinking about. You guys let me know. Do you think that's true? Is it really less than 1%? And if it is, why do they keep winning all of our stuff? Like, pure confusion. And then why are so many of them like highlighted? I mean, there's people on there's so many people on Instagram that are transgender that come up on my, when you do the reels. And I don't know, it feels like it's more than less than 1%. But I could be wrong. I don't know. That's just something to think about. Like I said, though, it's not fair. It really isn't fair, and it's not right. I think that I saw a lot of people, some of the comments that people were saying, someone was like, well, these girls shouldn't have accepted it. These girls should have stood up. And it's like, yes, I agree. I think if I was in that situation, I'd like to think that I would not, like, I'd like to think that I would say something. But also at the same time, I understand how it's such an uncomfortable situation. I'm sorry if you have any empathy and sympathy for people. It's such an uncomfortable situation. And it's not fair. And someone has to stand up. I like to think that I would be that person. I pray that God would give me the strength if I was in that situation to stand up and say something. But especially, like, I just keep it like scholarship. That's money. People need that. There's probably girls that were in that competition that like really could use the money, and then it just goes to this biological man. I don't think that's just not fair. I think like in this situation, those of us. So how do we as Christian conservative, not like other girlies, how do we stand up and react to the situation? I think the idea is from the jump, oh, so this person is transgender and they're competing in this. I don't think that's very fair. List the reasons why it's not fair. Say something, maybe even get social media involved, because that could also add pressure to the company, and speak up. I think that that's what it is. Like, it is really hard to speak up to a population that feels like has so much control, because you seem like a jerk. And that's the reality of it. Like, I want to be completely honest. If you were in this and you said, I don't want to compete because this person's transgender, it comes off as being a jerk. That's just a fact. So I think that speaking up from the beginning, asking God to give you strength, because it takes a lot of strength, especially if you're like, you really need the scholarship money and, you think that you can win. I can understand being like, oh, okay, well, if I speak up, I might not be able to be in the competition. I really need scholarship money. I've been working really hard to get to this place. I understand the train of thought, which is something I think sometimes people forget, especially like a lot of people were saying they should have said, a lot of that were men, and they're not in beauty pageants. And they also like, I don't want to say they lack empathy, but like as women, we have a certain ability of like empathy and things like that men just don't tap into, or they don't have. I don't know. We just know men and women are different. Anyway, I think that, there's a lot of things that go through your head, but I think like this is a time to stand up. And then also too, this is a time to like, and it's probably nerve wracking, but I'm sure there were multiple girls who were uncomfortable with that. I know it for a fact because I'm a woman, and I just know it. You can even look at the picture, like the congratulations picture. You can tell some people are just like, yay, congratulations. So if someone had like stood up, and I'm not blaming these girls, because also too, this is, at least for me, this is new uncharted territory. I've never seen anything like this where biological men are winning all these awards, doing all these. I've never seen anything like it. This is new uncharted territory, so I understand like being uncomfortable and knowing what to say and things like that. So yeah, so I think in this situation, this is when we stand up. This is why being friends with other girls is important too. In this, if you are in a situation like this is when you reach out to your community, tell them how you're uncomfortable, tell them what you think, and then also so you can have your friends hold you up, uphold you. So if someone was in the situation and they reached out to me, I would want to see how I could help. Like, okay, this is not right. Let's see how we can fix it. So like that's how we, as friends of people who are in that situation, we help them, we lift them up, we raise their voice. That is what we do as other girls. Okay, that's enough on that. Our final story is, let me just see really quick. Oh yes, our final story is like a little, lately I've kind of been doing like human interest pieces, or like human interest, I guess, maybe, or sciencey, like we did the stuff about like artificial wombs, the thing about the rat. This is more of a human interest one, and it is brought to you by American Woman Beauty. It is a beauty brand for the fearless, free-thinking woman. Join the beauty revolution. They have lipstick, mascara, eyeshadow, and other beauty products handmade in the USA. You can head to AmericanWomanBeauty.net, AmericanWomanBeauty.net, and use the code MAL15 to get 15% off. Okay, so human beings on planet Earth, we have got to the 8 billionth mark. Or 4 days ago, which was November 15th, we reached 8 billion people. Woo! Exciting. According to CNN Philippines, baby Vince's birth marks the world's 8th billionth person. According to CNN Philippines. Once again, a couple questions. I don't think this is real. I don't think we know the 8th billionth person. I'm just gonna throw that out on a limb. I don't even understand how they would calculate that. Like, every single person that's ever been born has been like, has been, taken account for. Don't think that's true. So I think that's kind of funny, and they like give it to this random baby. I think that's so funny, but we're 8 billion people. Ooh, yay. That's exciting, How they count, once again, I don't know, because I'm also thinking like there's people who have babies and like don't tell anyone, or they don't like register the baby. That's probably not how it happens. They don't. Obviously, as you can tell, I've never had a baby. They like, people have babies and they don't like notify the government right away. So like, we could have reached 8 billion like 2-3 days before that. We don't know. I think it's just funny, a funny thought. So I guess it should be 8 billion people calculated. Well, I mean, it says roughly, I think. Let me see. It's just funny. And we're at 8 billion. Let's see. Symbolic. I just think it's funny. Everyone, when you can, if you can, get married and add more, I guess. That's what you'd like to do. And that's today's show. If you enjoyed this wow, I've talked 54 minutes all by myself. Oops. Whatever. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, please, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, can you give us a rating? If you really, really enjoyed it, 5 would suffice. Really appreciate it. And leave us a positive review. That also helps a lot. If you're listening on Spotify, could you give us a 5-star rating on that? And then, let's see, what question should I ask? What would you do with where would you donate your $124 billion? That'll be my question on Spotify. Answer the question, and then I'll also ask it on the Instagram page. That'd be fun. And then if you listen other places, if you listen on YouTube, please subscribe. We're doing really good. Like, we're really trucking along. So please subscribe on YouTube. We really, really, really appreciate it. And also to comment, what you would do with $124 billion. And then if you're listening anywhere else, please use their rating system to help. A couple of weeks ago, someone told me that they were listening on a completely different platform that I didn't even know existed. And I was like, okay, thanks. If you're getting the episodes and they're clear, thank you. Share with your friends. Because we're also available on Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Audible, Radio Public, iHeartRadio, things like that. So if you're listening and there's a rating system, please help us. That'll push us up on the algorithm and get other girls to see this. Because once again, the goal is just to, for example, the transgender story. You're going to hear this on other pop culture podcasts, and they're going to be like, wow, this is so cool. Oh my God, that's amazing. They're not going to talk about it from the woman's perspective, the biological woman's perspective of, hey, they just lost a scholarship opportunity. So we need these stories. We need this uplifted, posted. We need to spread the word of this podcast. So please, share with all your friends. I guess that's it. You guys have a great, great holiday. I believe there will be an episode this Tuesday, and then I might try to do a quick episode on Wednesday, just like a Thanksgiving episode about thankfulness, maybe something like that. And then that'll be it until the end of Thanksgiving. Au revoir!